Good evening, guys. It's the 16th of August. Just thought I'd throw out my 2 cents and commentary on everything today and some of what happened over the weekend. To start, it's not like we have a massive viewership there on Freedom Link Radio on Sunday nights, but I put an advertisement up that I sent from my cellular phone at 7 o'clock p.m., maybe 6:30. Didn't process and make it onto YouTube until 7 a.m. Henning Kemner put one up himself. Didn't make it on YouTube till 7 a.m. And of course, that's 7 a.m. the following day. So, I don't believe in coincidence, but I'd find it hard to think there's any conspiracy on YouTube against myself. So I'll just laugh that one off and say hopefully it won't happen next time. Thursday evening, I'll be on Freedom Link Radio with Joe and Dr. Brooks Agnew. That should be a good one. I'm really looking forward to it, because Dr. Agnew can probably clear up a lot of burning questions that I've had that nobody else seems to be able to answer. So we'll go with that. So since I pulled the video down, I just thought I'd let you guys know. I suppose the screen name will be more appropriate now, because in about another 15 days, 20 days, I will no longer be a member of the U.S. military. I am being medically discharged, as I am medically unfit for duty. That's right. I'm physically disabled. And as I said on the OEF Soft Soldier channel recently, you will not see me with a bald head ever again. Unless something extreme happens, this stuff is coming out. Think Patrick Swayze on Point Break. That should be the shit. But it's going to take a while to get there. Moving right along now. I was just looking over the current Alta report, the news. And, it just never gets any better. North Korea now, and I'll put these articles up. North Korea now warns of the severest punishment for our drills. North Korea said this a lot of times, and they talk a lot. They've never done shit. I'm not concerned about it, but it's just one more sign of the times. The Russians are making sure the Iranian reactor comes up, I want to say 6 days from now. I'm sorry, 5 days. As the 21st, that nuclear reactor will be up and running. I got nothing against them for it. All right, they're going to produce nuclear power. Go for it, dude. You want nuclear power? You got it. Israel, as we know, doesn't really like the idea of them having nuclear anything over there. I'm personally of the belief that they already have nuclear weapons. The Russians sold them to somebody when they collapsed. So I'd be more than willing to bet the Iranians already have some nuclear weapons. And so you have that whole situation brewing up there. And then, of course, there's Pakistan floods, the mudslides in China. The absolutely bizarre weather here in the United States, which we've seen heat here in Washington, D.C. The last summer I saw any heat even remotely close to this was in 1999, but it didn't even quite get as bad then as it has been this summer. Meanwhile, Houston, Texas might have their first summer on record where they didn't break 100 degrees, and California is having record low temperatures. And there's a hurricane hitting Russia on their eastern coast that they're projecting is going to go all the way in over Moscow. Kind of goes back to the John Moore bit on global warming and what the government isn't telling you, that whole presentation. If you want to look it up, it's exactly that. John Moore, what the global warming, what the government isn't telling you. But he says specifically one big warning sign of the major climate change coming will be hurricanes forming over land. So as far as I know right now, they've got a fairly natural hurricane, but they have hurricane-strength winds and a cyclonic storm. So even without the water, if it's big enough, it's still technically a hurricane. And I'll be interested to see where it all goes from here, as always, but I guess you won't hear me talk too much about the economy, because I'd like to say that, even an idiot should know that it's about to free fall at this point. There's some great guys talking about it. Krabby Dog Tricks has been fantastic in just talking about it, but we're gonna collapse. We're going to see it. We don't know how we're going to see it, but we're going to collapse. The dollar is going to collapse. And as many economists want to say that China would never destroy the dollar. It'll cause them too much damage. I don't think so. It might cause them some damage in the short term, but they're now the second biggest economy in the world. They have a production capacity. They have been hedging in gold for several years now. They've been building their navy since 2006. If they can dump the dollar, they might suffer for a while, but they'll be the new world currency. And you see how good it is to be the world currency, America, because We are the world currency. And how rich is the United States? And it's only rich right now because we're borrowing money and because we're the world currency. That status goes away, it's over. And we're seeing it. The dream's over. But it's not even worth it to talk about for me. I know what the consequences are. I know how severe it can become. But that's almost consider it just, okay, they've been lying to us. We get it. What's starting to really kill me is I'm seeing this ensleeping people, which is still the majority. Someone I'm going to mention that's close to me recently just started lashing out at me. I've been telling them for 2 years, we're in for some trouble. And I had some crazy stuff, because obviously, I mean, my whole reality broke, my paradigm was out, and they just, oh, you're nuts, you need some help. This same person now, strictly due to politics, found herself so angry and so upset by everything that's starting to happen that she's taking antidepressants now. That's this game that they're playing, and it really does piss me off. It makes me furious, because that's exactly the result of the game they're playing, and I would believe to some degree it's the intention of the game they're playing is to create depression, anxiety, maybe even some hope. And I'd like to add, guys, hope doesn't get you anywhere. It just makes you feel good. Hope is the thought that everything's going to be all right arbitrarily, or that somebody's going to fix it, but you don't personally have to act. And I like to think that hope leads to inaction, and inaction will lead ultimately to apathy. And apathy will simply lead you sitting there on your ass, hoping that someone's going to take care of you, and take care of everything else. In the real world, though, there aren't genuinely very often superheroes, but every now and then one of them pops up. And in the midst of all of this that we're going to be going through in the future, and I would like to add the climate change that we're going to start experiencing here is going to be painful, punishing, and brutal. And those that aren't willing to adapt, or those that just refuse to accept the reality that it is actually happening, are going to have a really hard road ahead. And at least those of us that are awake, even though we don't have all the answers or half the answers, or sometimes we don't have any of the answers, at least we know. At least we're mentally prepared, and that's a big part. As I've said before, I haven't done any fitness videos in a very long time. They haven't gotten many views, but the things that I know before you enter that period of stress like we're going to get into, you need to be physically fit. And we discussed this on the radio show last night. You need to be physically fit. If you are not, and I'm telling you right now to all of you out there, if you are not physically fit to the best of your ability, you're going to have a very hard time. You're not going to deal with stress as well. Your body is not going to adapt as well. You will not be able to adjust to extremes of heat and cold as well. More than anything, though, you will not be able to handle the stress as well. And if you're in good shape, your body can actually physically handle the stress better. I'd like to add something that Henning's wife brought up, which is if you've got the ability, while you're in the process of getting yourself in good shape, keep an extra store of body fat on. Get a good layer of food, get a good layer of body fat, because with vitamins, little juice, some water, most people can make it a very long time without eating. And you've got to keep the right mental state, because 3 days without food can make you very dangerous if you don't keep the right mental state. And, have yourself ready to go, pick up and relocate at a moment's notice, and have yourself, not one backup plan, but have 5 or 6 if possible. Have as many as possible. And make sure you don't keep all your information on the computer, just in case the lights go out. It won't do you much good there. Print some directions off if you need to. That's about all I got for you today, guys. But again, Thursday night, Brooks Agnew on Freedom Link Radio. That should be a fantastic show. And I'm going to continue reading the Alta report, and I'll tell you my own thoughts on it. It would seem that from the last Alta report, the only thing that seemed to be coming true is oil wells blowing out all over the place because of some kind of internal earth pressure. At least that's what it looks like in Louisiana. Save the other 10 oil leaks all over the world. But all right, guys, I'll let you know when I get finished reading it.